August 27th, 2013. It was a mild winter Tuesday in São Paulo, the sky a blanket of gray. Dr. Ricardo Fonseca, a 52-year-old oncologist, boarded the 7:32 p.m. train at Luz Station, bound for the city of Campinas. That very morning, he had made an announcement that sent shockwaves through the medical community. He claimed to have developed a revolutionary treatment, one that could cure certain types of advanced stage cancer. During a press conference at the Hospital das Clínicas, Dr. Fonseca presented the preliminary results of his research, revealing a staggering 87% remission rate in terminal pancreatic and liver cancer patients. Ricardo Fonseca was no ordinary physician. A graduate of the University of São Paulo with a doctorate in oncology from Johns Hopkins University, he had dedicated 23 years of his life to the relentless pursuit of new cancer treatments. He lived a quiet, methodical life in the Pacaembu neighborhood with his wife, Helena Mendonça, and their 2 children, Mariana, a 21-year-old medical student, and Felipe, a 17-year-old in high school. According to his colleagues at the Hospital das Clínicas, where he headed the Department of Experimental Oncology, a palpable tension had clung to Dr. Fonseca in the weeks leading up to his announcement. He seemed torn between the thrill of discovery and a certain apprehension, reported Dr. Claudia Medeiros, his research assistant of 8 years. She noted he had been receiving phone calls that left him agitated, after which he would lock himself in his laboratory for hours. On that evening of August 27th, Dr. Fonseca boarded the train with nothing more than a medium-sized suitcase in his briefcase. He wore a gray suit, a white shirt, and a navy blue tie. Station security cameras recorded his entrance at 7:17 p.m. He bought a coffee at the platform kiosk, checked his watch a few times, and when the train arrived, he stepped into the 3rd car. It was the last time anyone ever saw Ricardo Fonseca. The train pulled into the Campinas station at 9:42 p.m., but Dr. Fonseca never disembarked. His wife, Helena, who was waiting for him on the platform, tried calling his cell phone repeatedly, but the calls went unanswered. After 30 agonizing minutes, she reported her husband's failure to arrive to the station master. An initial search was conducted through every car of the train, but there was no sign of the doctor, his suitcase, or his briefcase. "I knew something was wrong the moment he didn't answer my first call," Helena later told the police. "Ricardo always answered or called back within minutes. He never turned off his phone." The police were notified at 11:05 p.m. that night. Inspector Carlos Mendes from the Missing Persons Division immediately took the case. The first 48 hours would be crucial to finding any trace of the vanished doctor. The investigation began by questioning all 342 passengers from that train. In a baffling turn, not a single person remembered seeing Dr. Fonseca during the journey, even when shown his photograph. The security cameras inside the train cars, which should have solved the mystery, had suffered a technical malfunction, but only in the 3rd car, the very one Ricardo had boarded. Footage from the other cars was meticulously analyzed, but the doctor appeared in none of them. It was as if he had simply vanished into thin air aboard that train, Inspector Mendes commented in his preliminary report. The only concrete evidence was the record of him boarding and the validation of his ticket at the Luz Station turnstile. The morning after the disappearance, the investigative team discovered that Ricardo's cell phone had emitted its last signal at 8:43 p.m., somewhere between the stations of Jundiaí and Louveira, the exact midpoint of the journey. The device's GPS indicated it was still moving with the train at that moment. After that, the phone went silent forever. 3 days later, the federal police joined the case as information surfaced regarding the potential implications of Dr. Fonseca's research. "We are dealing with a complex case," stated federal delegate Augusto Pereira, assigned to lead the new phase of the investigation, one that may involve significant economic interests within the pharmaceutical industry. Indeed, an analysis of the doctor's emails and documents revealed that in the weeks before he vanished, he had received multi-million-dollar offers from 3 major international laboratories. All of them sought exclusive rights to his research. In an email reply to one such offer, Ricardo had written, "My discovery does not belong to any single company. It belongs to humanity. It is not for sale." The investigation also uncovered that 2 weeks before he disappeared, Ricardo had transferred all his research files to a secure server, protected by advanced encryption. The access password was in a sealed envelope, which he had given to his daughter, Mariana, with a simple instruction: "Only open this if something happens to me." A week after he went missing, Ricardo's lab team at the hospital reported that crucial samples of the compound he had developed had also vanished. Hospital security had detected no breach, suggesting that someone with authorized access had removed the material. The case then took an unexpected turn when an anonymous witness contacted the police. A railway company employee claimed to have seen 2 men confronting Ricardo in the train's restroom. "They seemed to be arguing," the witness stated. "One of them was holding something that looked like a syringe." However, when summoned to give a formal statement, the employee never appeared. 2 days later, it was discovered he had quit his job and vacated his apartment, leaving no forwarding address. 6 months of intensive investigation yielded no concrete results. Theories multiplied: a kidnapping motivated by corporate greed, a meticulously planned escape, an unrecorded accident, or even an elaborate hoax to protect his research. The trail grew cold and the case faded from the headlines. But his family and a few dedicated investigators refused to give up the search for answers. A year after the disappearance, police had interrogated 237 people, from colleagues and pharmaceutical executives to railway employees and the doctor's own patients. Numerous false leads emerged, supposed sightings in Latin America and Europe, all of which were eventually dismissed. Interpol issued a yellow notice officially classifying Ricardo as an internationally missing person, but no substantial information ever surfaced. Then on March 15, 2016, 2 years and 7 months after he vanished, a cleaner at the bus terminal in Belo Horizonte, 586 kilometers from São Paulo, found an abandoned suitcase in a long-term, unclaimed baggage depot. Inside were men's clothes, a stethoscope engraved with the initials RF, 3 handwritten notebooks filled with medical research, and a thumb drive. "When I saw the name on the clothing tags, I immediately remembered that missing doctor," said Jose Pereira, the cleaner who made the discovery. "My sister had cancer, and I remembered the news about him finding a cure." Forensics confirmed the suitcase belonged to Dr. Ricardo Fonseca. His fingerprints were on the objects and the notes matched his handwriting. The analysis indicated the bag had been left there approximately 6 months before it was found. The contents of the notebooks were revelatory. He had developed a compound that activated the body's own immune system to specifically target and destroy cancer cells, leaving healthy cells unharmed. The notes detailed not only the formula but also warnings about potential risks and side effects he had not yet made public. One entry in particular caught the investigators' attention. "They don't understand that this cannot be patented. The stem cell mutation is only the first step. I have to stay out of their sight." The thumb drive contained encrypted files. When decoded by federal police experts, they revealed correspondence between Ricardo and scientists in Cuba and Russia. The messages indicated he had established contact with these researchers to continue his work outside of Brazil, far from what he called unbearable corporate pressure. In one message, dated 3 days before his disappearance, Ricardo wrote, "My arrival is confirmed. The extraction plan is set. Destroy this message after reading." The discovery of the suitcase reignited the case in the national media. The theory that Ricardo had staged his own disappearance gained traction, but his family vehemently denied it. "My father would never have abandoned us without an explanation," insisted his daughter Mariana. "If he needed to hide because of his research, he would have found a way to let us know." 3 months after the suitcase was found, the envelope Ricardo had given his daughter was finally opened under judicial order. Inside, along with the server password, was a handwritten letter. "My dearest Mariana, if you are reading this, it means something has gone wrong. My research poses a threat to the interests of powerful people. The treatment I've developed could cost the pharmaceutical industry billions in profits. I have received explicit threats, but I cannot abandon this work. Too many lives depend on it. I have taken steps to protect the formula and will continue my work where it is safe to do so. Do not look for me. One day, when it is safe, I will be in touch. Take care of your mother and your brother. With all my love, Dad." Ricardo's letter turned the investigation on its head. What had seemed like a potential crime now appeared to be a deliberate flight for survival. The federal police reopened lines of inquiry into the pharmaceutical industry, focusing on the threats Ricardo had mentioned. Old phone records re-examined in light of the new information confirmed that the doctor had received 17 calls from unidentified numbers in the 2 weeks before he disappeared. During an authorized search of his home, investigators found a micro-recorder hidden in the ceiling of his office. It held a recording of one of those conversations. "Dr. Fonseca," an unfamiliar voice said, "you don't understand the implications of what you are doing. There are treatments in development that have cost billions, and it will take decades to recover that investment. Your miracle cure would destroy that entire ecosystem. There are ways to make this work for everyone. Otherwise, neither you nor your research will have a future." Voice analysis identified the speaker as Enrique Vasconcelos, the then director of a major pharmaceutical conglomerate based in São Paulo. When confronted with the evidence, Vasconcelos admitted to pressuring Ricardo, but vehemently denied any involvement in his disappearance. "We made legitimate offers for his work," he declared in his deposition. "When he refused, we tried to warn him about the realities of the market. We never threatened him physically." In October 2017, 4 years after the disappearance, a concrete lead finally emerged. A Brazilian doctor working in Havana, Cuba, reported having collaborated with a researcher who went by the name Roberto Ferreira, but whose description and expertise perfectly matched Ricardo Fonseca's. "He worked at the Center for Molecular Immunology in Havana," the doctor reported. "He was developing a revolutionary treatment for pancreatic cancer, but he always avoided photographs and public appearances. He disappeared about 6 months ago, leaving only a note saying he needed to continue his work elsewhere." Cuban police, in cooperation with Brazilian authorities, confirmed that a Roberto Ferreira had lived in Havana from 2014 to 2017, working under a false identity authenticated by official documents. The mystery of how Ricardo had obtained this new identity and left Brazil without a trace remained unsolved. In January 20, a partial answer came from a stunning deposition. A former agent of ABIN, the Brazilian intelligence agency, revealed under the condition of anonymity that Ricardo had been aided by an unofficial government operation. Certain sectors of the government understood the importance of Dr. Fonseca's research and the risks he was facing, the ex-agent stated. A decision was made to help him disappear, to give him the means to continue his work in safety beyond the reach of corporate interests. It was a matter of national sovereignty and public health. This revelation sent a political earthquake through Brazil. A parliamentary commission of inquiry was established to investigate the involvement of government agencies in Ricardo's disappearance. 3 high-ranking officials from the Ministry of Health and 2 from ABN were suspended during the investigation. Amid the political turmoil, the most important aspect of the case remained: Dr. Ricardo Fonseca's research. The notebooks from the suitcase in Belo Horizonte were valuable but incomplete. However, in March 2019, a scientific paper was published in the prestigious International Journal of Cancer Research by a group of Cuban, Russian, and Chinese researchers. It described a new immunotherapeutic treatment for aggressive cancers. The method detailed was an exact match to the approach Ricardo had pioneered in Brazil. Although his name was not listed among the authors, the acknowledgments section mentioned the foundational contribution of Dr. R.F., whose pioneering work made this breakthrough possible. Initial clinical trials of the treatment showed promising results, with remission rates of 78% in terminal pancreatic cancer and 82% in advanced liver cancer, remarkably close to the figures Ricardo had announced at his final press conference. Helena, Ricardo's wife, petitioned the courts for the right to participate in the new treatment's clinical studies, arguing that her husband was the true creator. After an intense international legal process, the Hague Tribunal ruled that Brazil would have the right to participate in the studies and eventual production of the drug, free of patent costs. In April 2020, the Hospital das Clínicas in São Paulo began offering the treatment on an experimental basis, with results that confirmed its astounding efficacy. Mariana Fonseca, now an oncologist like her father, led the team responsible for implementing the protocol in Brazil, carrying forward the legacy of a man who vanished from the world in order to save it. "This is my father's true legacy," she declared in an interview. "Regardless of where he is, his work is saving lives, which was all he ever wanted." On August 27, 2023, exactly 10 years after his disappearance, Helena received a letter with no return address. A handwriting analysis confirmed it was from Ricardo. "My beloved Helena, 10 years have passed. Our children have grown. My work is complete. The treatment is available to those who need it, free from commercial restrictions. I cannot return. This is the condition for my safety and for yours. But know that I am well, and that I have never stopped loving you. The decision I made was the most difficult of my life, but it was the only way to ensure my research reached those in need. By the time you read this letter, I will be in a new place, continuing other important work. I am proud to know that Mariana has followed in my footsteps. Tell her and Felipe that I love them immensely. Perhaps one day, when everything is truly safe, we can meet again. Until then, live your lives to the fullest. Yours, forever, Ricardo." The letter was postmarked from Santiago, Chile, but investigations indicated that Ricardo was likely not living in the country. It was just another point on his continuous journey of flight and research. The case of Dr. Ricardo Fonseca remains technically open, classified as a voluntary disappearance for security reasons. His name has been included on a list of candidates for the Nobel Prize in Medicine, proposed by scientists from 12 different countries. The treatment he developed, now known as the Fonseca Protocol, has already saved more than 15,000 lives worldwide. Pharmaceutical laboratories have had to adapt their business strategies to accommodate this new therapeutic reality. And some of the executives involved in the threats against Ricardo have faced criminal charges. The Fonseca family created a foundation that promotes independent research in oncology and advocates for democratized access to medical treatments. Annually, on August 27th, the date of Ricardo's disappearance, the foundation holds an international symposium on ethics in medical research. Helena never remarried. In her last interview, she stated, "Some call me a widow, but I don't feel that way." Ricardo is alive somewhere, continuing his work. I feel his presence in the lives that are saved daily by his discovery. He made an impossible choice between his family and thousands of strangers. As a doctor, he swore an oath to save lives, and he honored that oath, even at the cost of his own happiness. The mystery of the doctor who vanished on a train after announcing a cure for cancer has transcended a mere police case to become a symbol of the struggle between free scientific knowledge and corporate interests. Wherever Ricardo Fonseca may be today, his legacy remains alive, saving lives and inspiring a new generation of researchers to seek truth above all else. If you have followed the story to this point, it is because you care about these cases that mark families forever. Let us know you reached the end by leaving a comment, so we can see who truly cares about the search for truth. Don't forget to like this story and share it with others who are interested in real-life cases that have transformed lives and medicine itself.